on my wildest dreams. Maybe that one could have carried me to streets of gold. Things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wonder what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Today game of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Times gone by, I've traded back to him to play. Thought my memories would end. One street over's now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, I'm back to where I've been. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Today games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today.
Oh, good morning, Robertson County. What you doing? This is 1100 WSGI. And yes, such a bittersweet morning. This is killing me, my friend, Dr. Chris Causey.
Good morning.
Said, uno más, one more, uno más. And that's all the Spanish I know. I try to impress my kiddos, and it's a long story why that's the phrase that rolls off my tongue. But anyway, but we've got one more interview with my friend, Dr. Chris Causey, and I'll just say it again, I'm so thankful that you became my friend before my boss. And I know you say Mr. Gregory's my boss and all that, but you opened the door for me to be a teacher, and that just I will never forget that. But I'm gonna miss you.
Well, today's theme is the Lord does work in mysterious ways. And
I agree.
And they're only mysterious, folks, because we don't know what they are.
Yes.
That's
Amen,
what we call
brother.
it. Lord always knows what he's doing.
Yes.
But I will tell you, you've done an excellent job with this show. I mean,
Thank
it really
you.
is. You know, we used to make
you.
the joke, actually, and no offense to Dick or anybody who was on this show before you, but I used to make the joke that, somebody said, "Oh, you were on the radio this morning." And I said, "Yeah, for the 4 people listening in." Because it wasn't, like swap and shop, the old days. But you have truly made this radio station, at least your show, it's global. I mean, we talked about it. People, I remember Commissioner Faye Stubblefield said, "I heard you, but I was in Italy," or I think, she was over in
That's
Europe.
hysterical. That's
So
hysterical.
yeah, it's a lot of people
That's fun.
listen now on the app, and and actually I use the app sometimes when I'm in Nashville because of course it didn't reach there, and it works beautifully, and we listen to it on Alexa at home and that kind of thing. I'm not home at that point, but now I'll be able to listen on the app.
Thank
traveling
you.
to and from, but
Thank
I'll
you.
keep on listening because
Thank you.
everybody that you have on, whether it's local government officials or it's Faith Friday, and actually we had a professional development yesterday on just taking care of your own health and your mental health, and the lady is from Scotland. Oh. And I just like to say Scotland.
Yeah.
But anyway, and Dr. Jack Martin, who's been on this show.
Yes.
Out at
From Ireland.
Church of Christ out in Greenbrier.
Yes, Green Ridge.
He and I met when I was a teacher at Kreisel. We had a student that went out there, and so he actually spoke to my class at Kreisel, and I'll never ever forget that. That was just very cool, and that was 25 years ago. So,
Yeah.
So just the influence that you have
Thank
through
you.
this show is pretty amazing.
Thank you
more,
very
more
much.
than I ever really thought with DBL or SGI or whatever would really reach Robertson County. You're doing a fabulous job.
Thank you very much. And can't say enough to Ebenezer Broadcasting and the Petersons and all those that, I mean, Ebenezer Broadcasting came in and made this a worldwide Christian broadcast facility, guys. I'm going to be in El Rosario for our mission next week, and I will be listening to this station because I can listen to everything going on. I mean, I get great Christian music, so if I want to bring some, Christian music in, and I can also, I can tune into DBL and even bring the Espanol in, so it's just fabulous what they're doing with Ebenezer Broadcasting. Ilyu leading that up, Ilyu Maldonado. So just pat him on the back and say, hey, what do you need me to do? And can I be a part of it? And he'll find a place to maybe put a show on for you and talk to him about that. So all right, Dr. Causey.
Well, we had our June board meeting last night.
Yes, you did.
And we actually started at 5:30, was not part of the meeting, but just let folks know we did recognize our retirees at 5:30. We had a small reception for them. Nothing too fancy, but just a chance for us to give them a plaque and give them a gift card, and just to say thank you for all that you've done for Robertson County Schools. Our buddy Muriel was there, and got a chance to say goodbye to her one more time. And I just told her if I keep on saying goodbye to people, maybe they'll just keep on coming back. So, because we're definitely going to miss her math expertise.
She's so good. I spoke with her last night. So,
we were able to recognize, and we had cupcakes, and then of course we had to go. We had to go to the board planning session at 6:00, but all the board members stopped by and got a chance to see quite a few of our folks retiring this year, and whether they drove a bus or school nutrition or teaching in the classroom, or even speaking of men of faith, John Briggs, who taught ISS out at Joe Burns and has for a few years, is the preacher at it's Highland Rim. No, Highland. It's in Greenbrier.
I know what
John,
you're talking
forgive
about.
me, but
yeah,
but one of the oldest churches in Robertson County, actually. But most people know John actually not only for his preaching but also for his singing, and he was a music minister at Cedar Hill Baptist, and that's when he and I mean he's known my family since we were tiny, since the kids were tiny, and Stacy and I were newly married or getting married, and I mean he's known me for a long time. So good to say he's just a wonderful man. So we had a chance to celebrate for a little while last night before we went to the planning session. And most of the planning session was regarding a piece of property in Greenbrier.
Yep.
And I want to
Next
thank
door.
Brandon Frank for coming by, and everybody's seen the work that he's doing. And there's an opportunity for a school system to purchase a little bit under 6 acres right beside the school, in which the plan, the facility plan involves building a gym, because a lot of people may not know that Greenbrier is the only school with one gym. And that makes school very, very difficult between all the sports, all the, wrestling, cheerleading. I mean, you could have 4 or 5 sports going on at the same time. And with one gym, it's next to impossible. I mean, they're using the commons area. They're doing, and all of our other high schools have 2 gyms. So we're hopefully going to build a brand new gym, a brand new one, and then turn the old gym into more of an auxiliary gym, maybe add some classrooms, and then maybe add a small wing headed to that gym that could have about 6 classrooms in it. So, but we need the property to do that. A lot of people know that Greenbrier, we can't go around back where the practice field is because that's geothermal. So you can't touch that. And then on the right, we've got that lot on the corner, but it's kind of like in a hole. We have to do a lot of work there, and this one's going to be pretty much graded, and because Brandon's doing all that work already. The city's done some work, is doing some work over there. So it's going to be a really nice project. But the first step was, of course, to do a letter of intent for the board to purchase that property. And there's details that go into that, everything from roads to traffic lights to everything. And but the board did vote on that last night during the meeting to enter a letter of agreement with Brandon Frank to purchase that property with a stipulation of a cap of a monetary figure on the traffic light. So, we're not paying an exuberant amount of money for a traffic light in the future. And then we'll let the attorneys work out the rest of it. So,
Very
pretty
good.
excited. That's been on the conversation for months now.
Oh, I know that'll be a first topic that we'll be talking about when we get back together at Greenbrier. So I imagine,
absolutely.
yeah, for
Oh,
sure. That'll
absolutely.
be
And-
Dr. Osborne will be very excited.
Well, and now we've already got the architect working on West Side and Innovation Academy. I think those two projects will come in at about $25 million, and then of course a new middle school out at Heritage, along with this property. I mean, we've got a lot of things coming down the pike that we have to do. This isn't that we want to do it. This is not we like to spend money on buildings. We have to do it based on the growth that's coming in Robertson County and just the facilities that we have that were truly neglected for about 2 to 3 decades.
Yeah, so there you go. So that's and we see all this coming. We hear a lot of chat about it, and we hear a lot of talk about it. We've had a lot of rumors at Greenbrier about it, so I know everybody's going to be excited to hear that. So talking with Dr. Chris Causey, this is his last visit with us because he is moving on, and we'll talk about all the things as before we finish up. But let me go ahead and pause. This is a good place for me to pause and just go ahead and take a break. And while we're on the subject of Greenbrier, why don't we just go ahead and talk about Veterans and Motorplex? This is a great place. I've been talking to Jerry, doing our best to get Jerry in here. He is a busy man, but they are in race season. They're in their 2023 race season. It goes through October. Now last year extended into November a little bit because of weather, but typically through October you can go to the races on Saturday. Talked to Caleb Stratton about this yesterday. He's out there racing a lot of the times, or he's working with one of the racers. So you'll see him out there from time to time as well. But this is in Greenbrier. This is the old Highland Rim Speedway. It's at 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. If you've got questions, you can call them at 615-643-TRACK. TRAK, or 615-643-8725. The gates open at 4 o'clock on Saturday. Racing starts at 6. You're going to have an absolute blast. And I keep showing you this magazine because if you find any of these around, this is a $40 ticket. This came out from the Keenan Group at the end of the school year. They're in some of the sponsors' bins. You'll see them around town still. Home & Jewelers, the Post Office, F&M Bank. And this back page is worth $40. It'll get in up to 6 kids and 2 adults. You just got to bring this back page in, and it's good for the entire season. So if you find a stack of these, don't do that. Use one. But you'll go out to the races, and you're going to be hooked, and you're going to be back. Got a great concession stand. It's just fun for the whole family. Activities for the kids. Get out there this weekend if you possibly can, and please let them know that you turned Ascension. Thank you for being one of our sponsors here at One Street Over. Okay, Dr. Chris Causey in the house. Board meeting happened last night, and this is a random question, but I need somebody to answer whether or not the commissioners meeting will happen next Monday because it's Juneteenth. Isn't it? Is Monday a holiday? So I wonder if they're
On my
moving.
calendar, it's still Monday night.
If you're needing
I
help
know
in the real estate community, whether
voted
it's
to
buying
make
or
that a
selling.
holiday. I don't think the county's done that yet.
Okay. Well, that answers that question because I'm going to be in Mexico, so
Right.
I'm needing. If Mayor Vogel's going to be coming in here on Tuesday, I'll make those calls. But I thought you might know.
And backtrack real quick.
Yeah.
If people need a copy of that Let's Talk Trash,
Yeah.
there is actually quite a few at the in the front waiting area of the district office. So they can come to the central office. We've
there
got a
you go.
stack. I saw them last night. So
Okay.
because a lot of people, of course, I have an article that I write in the very front
Yeah.
page of that.
Yes.
And Debbie's so patient with me and my writing skills, which aren't very good. But anyway, that's I actually do write that. I sit down at a laptop and write that. So sometimes it's very personal to me. But anyway, that's there. And
Very good.
Kathy Beck over at Cheatham County set that bar pretty high because she's been doing it longer than I have. But I think it's my 2 years in a row we've done that now.
Yeah, and it's a great little. It reminds me of the highlights magazines we had when we were kids, and the Keenan Group does a beautiful job on this. I'll touch base with Debbie this summer, and we'll just talk to her about this and how it continues. But if you want to be a part of this, reach out to the Keenan Group. But this ticket. That's a $40 value on the back of that page. Yeah, and awesome. It's good through October, y'all. So check it out, get you one, and go to the races.
So anyway, I know I backtracked, but
that's okay.
But we were what were we talking about?
We were talking about the board meeting So at some point we need to. Everybody wants to know why you're leaving, what's going on, all of those things. And I told him he's my friend. I'm not going to talk to him about anything he don't want to talk about.
Well, let's get through the board meeting and
then we'll get on that on the other side of it. So okay. And if you have questions, you can put them up, and I'll propose them to him. And
One
And
of the things that I think we do better now than we've ever done, and is partner with the Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Development Board. So last night, Jordan Osborne of the Chamber and Vonda Gates of the Robertson County Economic Development Board, Jordan did a presentation that talked about how our career and technical education classes and what the partnerships that we have with the Chamber, everything from the career fairs to the job shadowing days to the partnerships with AirTech and Electrolux and all of those things. And we do that better now than we ever have, and we have plans to blow it up in the future, especially with the Innovative School Models grant. So now Mark Gregory, of course, we've already mentioned him, supervisor of CTE, and the coordinator of that department, Mark will. Oh, my mind just went blank. Yeah. Elliot, thank you.
oh,
Sorry.
okay. I was
Let me
trying to think. Who are you talking
let
about?
me drinking
Yes.
some coffee.
Yes.
Well,
No, I'm with
so
you.
I actually had to think about his dad there. So anyway, that's always a good thing. But anyway, with the job that they're doing with CTE and then with all of our schools, of course, we've we really have 7 schools working with CTE now. And I'm not even talking about the middle schools. I'm talking about the 5 high schools that we used to always talk about. And now we've got, of course, Innovation Academy for Robertson County. That's number 6. And our Phoenix Academy doing some CTE stuff over there in our building. So it really is about to blow up, and we're very excited. So they had a wonderful presentation, just letting the board know some of the connections and some of the certifications that our kiddos are getting as they leave high school. And, a lot of our kids are walking out of high school with the job, after getting a certification, making more money than their teacher did. And really, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Is always try to build that. But speaking of, we'll get to the budget in a minute. But I do want to just shout out, we already talked about the retired teachers. Transportation Department actually gave out some awards last night for perfect attendance. And you've seen them. They've probably got one of the better Instagram social media accounts out there. I don't know if you've seen it for transportation, but all the perfect attendance folks are on there. And then they also recognized some folks that got awards at the Ladies Tennessee Association Pupil Transportation Conference. So they were recognized.
Mr. Mason.
Yep. Well, Mr. Mason actually is now in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
We actually have a bus driver in the Hall of Fame for the
Yeah.
state of Tennessee, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, and I always get tickled. And you all have seen Mr. Mason's bus, on Central Avenue, and it's got the chrome wheels and the chrome caps on there. And I remember one of the first times we actually they were on the bus, and I had someone call me that says, "Why in the world do we have a bus with chrome wheels? Do we? I mean, are we spending money on that?" And actually, here's the thing though, and it was Mr. Willie's bus, and it was a gift. We spent no money. It was a gift from the bus vendor for someone who's been driving the bus longer than anybody else. So Mr. Willie got him. And of course, just, his very cool to have a bus driver in the Hall of Fame, and very proud of the work that he does. So, there's a lot of people walking around Springfield that had Mr. Willie or will have Mr. Willie as a bus driver because just very proud.
Yeah,
of the
he's
work
not
he
going
does.
anywhere.
He's not going anywhere.
And you can get your hair cut by him too. And my husband's been letting him cut his hair.
Well, there you go. I don't think I was aware of that.
He's a barber. Yeah.
I stopped in the
Out there.
Greenbrier Barber a couple weeks ago for the first time.
Yeah.
And because mine wasn't available, and had a really good haircut out there. So
Yeah.
Rays, you pass it every day on your left
Yeah.
out there. So anyway, moving on the bus. Underneath personnel, of course, we always talk about folks that are retiring and hiring and stuff like that. But the one thing that the board did have to vote on last night was an interim director of schools, because my contract is up at the end of this month, June 30th. So they did vote for Miss Melanie Dickerson, who is the current assistant director of schools, to be an interim director of schools until one is chosen. So she will take hold of that position July 1 officially. Of course, I think that's a Saturday. So her first day, kind of like mine in my other position, will be July 3rd. So we'll get on that. And then under new business last night, just to keep that thread, the board did vote to have Sam Jackson, our school board attorney, who was there last night, to actually work with board chair Jeff White for the application process and the search to get a new director of schools relatively in a short time span. So that you'll see that posted, I think, pretty quickly. They'll use a lot of the same specs that they used when 6 years ago. So a lot of folks may not know they think the Board of Education has this huge range of abilities. I want this person fired or whatever the case may be. In reality, the school board has two responsibilities. The first one is, of course, board policy. They vote on board policy. They set board policy. The other one is to hire and fire the director of schools.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what they got. So they're not in charge of personnel, and the only person they hire and fire is the director of schools. So they Sam Jackson did agree to do that last night. School board chair Jeff White and Mr. Jackson will work on that process, and I think you'll see some details in the next 30 days or so on that.
How many years have you served as director?
6.
That's what I thought. I mean,
6.
Somebody had asked me, and I said, "Well, I know he came on just right after he was relatively new when I started doing the show, and I'm in my 5th year, I think." So yeah.
Yeah,
So,
2 more years than Mr. Davis, who was before me. Now, Mr. Whitlow before him, I think, had 8.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Metter before that had 4 or 5.
okay.
And Mr. Ellis before that had 20 some odd years
Okay.
back in the day. I will tell you, I had the pleasure last week. We had a superintendent reunion at the Tennessee Organization of School Superintendents. For the first time, to my knowledge, had a superintendent reunion, and they had one for Middle Tennessee, and then they had one for West, and then one for
Oh,
East.
wow.
So for Middle Tennessee, I made the joke. I said, 3 superintendents were in a car, but me, Mr. Whitlow, and Mr. Metter. And I will always call them Mr. Whitlow and Mr. Metter because they each gave me a job. So
Yeah.
and then we actually met Mr. Davis there, who drove in from Kentucky, and we had a luncheon in Murfreesboro. And we actually had,
Oh, cool.
as far as school systems go, we had the most. There were 4 of us there, and so we had everybody there. Of course, Mr. Ellis passed away. Miss him. Got the chance to sit on the library board with him, and of course, and he hired me as a teacher.
Yeah.
Back in 1996. So,
Wow.
So anyway, just
Wow.
just a great man. But so we did miss Mr. Jerome, but the 4 of us got a chance to get together and see. There's directors that I'm very good friends with right now. That one of these days, we'll all be retired, and I'd
Yeah.
like to, go see Richard Rye down in Humphreys County, or Danny in Dixon, or Chris McCaskill in Houston. I mean, these folks are friends of mine, and you get very close because there's nobody out there that knows what a superintendent faces other
Except-
than another superintendent.
Right.
I mean, it really is, and we're very close. So, so just proud of, and just very glad for their friendships throughout the last 6 years. Some of them have retired. We have new ones,
Yeah.
that have come on board, and especially Rutherford and Murfreesboro City. Trey Dukes down there. It's just, I've known him since we were both supervisors. So you just get really close to these people as we meet. We try to do what's best for all of our kids in Tennessee. And it's about to look a little bit different.
Yes,
I
it
will tell
is.
you. But we'll, the thing is, as long as our mission is the same, and that's kiddos, that's what we're going to do. And no matter where we are and what county we're in, then we'll continue to do so. And one of the things that the board did vote last night, getting away from the director part of it, is they did vote unanimously for this year's budget. This year's budget is actually it's one of those weird ones because we're out of having the statewide virtual school. We've got the new funding formula for the state, which did provide Robertson County with quite a few more millions of dollars to move forward. And we spent less, but we also did some wonderful things. And one of the best things we did in this budget, our salary schedule right now in the fall will be set at $50,000 for a first-year teacher. Right now it's at 44.6.
Seriously, that's going up to
Seriously.
50 this year?
Going up to 50 in the fall.
I had no idea. I mean,
wherever
I knew we were going to get there, but I didn't know it was happening this
our
year.
goal, the state's goal is to get 50 in 3 years, 4 years.
Right.
Okay. Our goal is to be on the other side of that. We want to be at 55. We've never been, as long as I've ever known, we've never been at the state minimum salary schedule. And that's really due to our local commissioners and our school boards that have said, okay, if we're going to attract teachers, we've got to be better than the state minimum. I mean, we do. Otherwise, you'll go anywhere.
Right.
And it used to be our 90-10 insurance used to be, or our 100% insurance. We used to pay 100% of all certified teachers' insurance, but we didn't pay. We only paid 45% state minimum of classified. When affordable health care came out, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it, and they said, no, your employees have to have the same opportunity. Then our classified folks got a really, really big raise because all of a sudden we were paying 90% of their insurance. Our certified folks, all of a sudden took a cut because they were used to 100%.
Right.
And they went down to 90. And it was very hard to convince people that's still better than you'll find anywhere else.
Yeah.
So now everybody's at 90-10, and that's still a draw. But at the same time, it's not with our younger population. It's not a draw like it used to be.
Right.
It's almost like family insurance. Yeah, but I'm single.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have a family for 6 years. I want to know what my paycheck looks like. So yeah, I'm very proud to say that right now the budget voted on the board and will be presented to the budget committee this afternoon. Actually has a beginning salary in Robertson County, $50,000. That will be the best salary in Middle Tennessee, with the exception of possibly Metro. We're quite proud of that. And next year may be a small percentage. I don't know. I don't think next year will be that big of an increase. I think the rest of it's going to have to go up a little bit at a time. But just very proud because we get a chance to do it this year. And the thing is, sometimes we always say, "Well, let's do it next year. Let's do it this." Now we're going to try to get ahead of this curve, and hopefully we can attract teachers that are graduating, or if they're from, I hate to say it because I'm about to be one, if they're from other school systems that want to make a little bit more money, they're going to come to Robertson County and teach here, especially if they're close to one of the borders. Yeah.
Okay. Well, very good. And that's I'm a teacher. That's very exciting to know. I knew we were headed there. I didn't know it was going to happen that quickly, but thank you for that information.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyway, let's pause for a second. Let's talk about Cumberland Connect. Part of the gig club. Dr. Causey's part of the gig club. He is one of the ones that kept, teasing me before I got to be in the gig club with Cumberland Connect. You know what the really cool thing is? They do these extenders, right?
Right.
So I want to get this to where it'll go out into my barns and stuff because we're building a photography business out there. So I had them come out, and I was going to have them put an extender just in my window, and I thought it would cover it really well. And he's like, "You want to make sure you get good internet?" He goes, "If you'll put the conduit in, I'll pull the line. It won't cost you any more, and you'll have hardwired internet in your barn for an extra $5 a month." You can't beat that. And here's the thing. They came out, guys. I called them. They said, okay, there's going to be a charge for coming out. But then they ended up not charging me and just called it a site survey. Josh is the guy's name. I was just so impressed with him. And he had no idea I do their ads. But I mean, what a great company. Oh, my goodness. If you're a Cumberland Electric customer and you have not checked out Cumberland Connect yet, what are you waiting for? Get on the phone. Call them at 1-800-987-2362. Tell them where you are, your zip code, and they'll tell you whether or not they may be in your neighborhood. They may be ready to pull the line and hook you up right now, or you can go to cumberlandconnect.org, put in your zip code, and it'll give you all the information. And if you need help financially, they have the Affordable Connectivity Program providing qualifying households with monthly credit to help pay for internet services. And if you're eligible, you could receive a credit of up to $30 per month toward broadband services. They've got packages that start at $30 per month. Get in touch with them today if you are a Cumberland Electric customer and see when they're going to be coming and knocking on your door. And when you talk to them, let them know U-Turn sent you, and thank them for sponsoring One Street Over. Where do you want to head next, Dr. Causey?
One of the things that was parents are going to see, and let me see if I can locate it. I may pull it out to sign the darn thing, actually. But bottom line is, in the there it is. In the fall, we're going to have a program called School Care. What that means for our parents is your child's medical records that we keep at school, and I'm talking about doctor's notes, nurses' notes, things like that. When your child goes to see the nurse at the school, they have to document the visit. And right now, that's pretty much on a piece of paper. It's in the filing cabinet, and we're going to digitize all that.
Oh, cool.
And it is very safe. Of course, it does sync with PowerSchool, our student information system, and it's going to give. There'll be an app where the parents can actually pull it up and say, "Oh, did I write a note for last Tuesday?" And they can go check on all that. There's also going to be some opt-in features that parents can have that actually connects the school nurse to their primary care physician. So we're very excited about it. Sumner's been using it for a long time. Other districts have used it. It is free. It's not going to cost the district anything, not going to cost parents anything. There are other entities out there that pay for it, especially when you opt into some of these other things. So, but bare bones, our parents will have the opportunity to use this and everything that way. If your child moves from this school to that school, then we just move the digital file over as opposed to making sure they've got the physical file of it all. So our nurses are pretty excited about that. And like I said, it's a new adventure for us, but I think at the end of the day, it'll just be the way that we do things. So.
Right. Everything's digital. Everything's digital. I mean, it just is way more convenient and it just works way, way better. Talking to Dr. Chris Causey. If you have any questions, you can throw them up in comments, talking about all the things going on. This is, of course, his last visit with us here on One Street Over. I'm just trying to come up with some way for you to come back and talk to me. Are you going to stay? Are y'all moving to the county? Or you?
No, let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. We can
let's
do that.
go ahead and
We're
talk
30
about the
minutes
elephant in
in,
the room.
right?
Yeah.
No, just there's of course a lot of questions out there, and of course the first question is, when you see that big word resign,
Yeah.
it's almost like, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
Nothing, God happened, and actually, a lot of people don't understand how truly, and I know Mr. White said this on Tennessee article actually, that it is a 24/7 deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, as a matter of fact, I think most school system jobs are, not just the director. I mean, even last night, building and grounds, and I, were texting at 11 o'clock last night because of a situation in one of our schools. And then the principal was texting the back a reply at 5 o'clock this morning. I mean, it truly is. And Stacey and I started talking, it's been quite a few months ago. And started praying and said, if there's any other opportunities out there that can allow us to not slow down. I hate that term because I don't plan on, I'm only 50. I'm not going to slow down. You know me, I can't slow down.
No.
But something that will kind of give us our life back a little bit, as well as, I've got one that lives in Murfreesboro. I've got another one that's in college at Austin P, and the ability to go see them and do things and with them becomes pretty important actually as they get older. I've been blessed even as a principal with young kids. A lot of people have picked up that slack throughout the last 20 some odd years, and we were laughing at I was talking to Dr. Corey Willoughby, our principal over at East Robertson Elementary School, who now is Dr. Willoughby. Makes it sound like a medical show. But I was talking to him, and we were talking about, when you do your dissertation, when you get your doctorate, it really takes a spouse to take care of your kiddos. It takes an assistant principal. Of course, Keisha's out there, and Margaret Thompson was my AP at Greenbrier Middle. It really does take a village for one person to do all of this. So we started praying and truly praying. We're talking about pillows, the whole 9 yards on the bed. And I don't mind telling people, I'm married to a praying person. Mm-hmm. And so I'm very lucky there. But anywho, bottom line is we decided if the window opened or the door opened, and then we would, faithfully consider it. And it just happened. It did. Most people saw the article. I will be the supervisor of high schools and K-12 accountability for Sumner County Schools. We are not moving. I have a little car out there now. I bought the first car I've owned for probably about 20 years or so, because I bought the truck when I was principal at Joe Burns High. Yeah. Because Dr. Locke told me you can't be an administrator at Joe Burns and not have a truck. So I traded in the Ford Taurus at the time and bought the truck, and it's got 185,000 miles on it. I've driven that thing pretty well. So anyway, so bought a little Nissan Sentra, and gets
Better gas mileage.
40 miles to the gallon, and look forward to driving a little bit, actually, because I don't. I'm kind of like you. I'm 5 minutes away from here, So looking forward to the drive a little bit, and looking forward to the director of schools in Sumner County, Scott Langford. A wonderful, wonderful leader over there. They have a wonderful team over there. Of course, they've got 8 high schools, and you've also got Merrill Hyde. You've got choice schools. You got a little. It's quite large, and a lot of data to sort through. And that was my role before I became superintendent. I was accountability supervisor, Robertson County. Of course, Lewis and that team does that so much better than I ever could. But just making sure that our teachers and our students know, and our students, it used to be just principal teacher thing, but make sure our students know what their data is and know this is how I improve moving forward. And it was just an opportunity that we believe that got put in my path. And so, it's a year earlier than I really thought it was going to be. Because my contract was actually up next year anyway.
Okay.
So, and the board could have renewed it, and those kind of things that we move on, when we move through when you're in this role. But it really was just a God thing.
Yeah.
And the reception I've received in Sumner has been just overwhelmingly positive. And I'm very excited for that next journey. We all have journeys.
Yeah.
You've had a different journey,
Absolutely.
and that kind of thing.
I was in Texas for a minute. So.
And the thing is, my role, and the mayor and I have actually talked about this. I think one time he said, a lot of people think we have a lot more power than we do. I said, amen, brother. Because really it is the systems and the policies and procedures that you put in place. So I can tell you, I said this to Josh Heineman last night. Chris Causey can walk out that door tomorrow, and I don't think we'll miss a beat. I mean, the district will not miss a beat. Josh Heineman walks out tomorrow, I think we're all in trouble. So, but anyway, but I really think when you look at, of course, Ms. Dickerson as assistant director, our supervisors, our principals, our teachers, we just added principals in this, or assistant principals in this budget at the middle school level. Last year, we added an assistant principal at Grimber High, which made all the difference in the world. We're finally at a level. And I said this last night, where school systems across the state are talking about what Robertson County's doing, instead of us going, well, what are they doing? People are calling us and saying, how in the world are you giving away laptops when the kids graduate? Those kind of things. Don't you have to, lease them? And no, we buy them, and then we try to take care of them for 4 years. Kids take care of them, then we give them to them when they graduate. That was such a new concept, and now you see that happening across the state. And when 6 years ago we were in need of improvement, that was our state label. It's horrible. And now, and we were on the verge of being exemplary, of course, and then COVID happened, and we all kind of slid backwards there. So I think everything is in place now. Our teachers are phenomenal. We're getting Teachers of the Year across the state, at all 3 levels, elementary, middle, high. And with that being said, I think with the growth that's coming, I think people are walking in and they're saying this is a really good school system. And I'm pretty excited about everything that Robertson County will continue to do. No, we're not moving. This is still my people. I will always call you my people.
I'm glad to hear that, because I was hoping y'all were going to stick around so we'd see you around town.
We're in a good, the thing is, we live in Cedar Hill. Yeah. Most people know that already. We go to church in Greenbrier. Yeah. So in today's age, you just drive. You just do what you got to do. And the time that I leave the house in the morning and the time that I get home at night really isn't going to change too much. It's just a matter of, those 2 a.m. phone calls or whatever the case may be. I think it'll slow down a little bit. And if we decide to take a long weekend or a vacation, then I think we'll be on vacation. Yeah. And that's a luxury that a lot of people have that superintendents really don't. To say it out loud there. And so we're pretty excited about that. Yeah. So there's nothing more than that. We've had people call that said, "Is it because of no?" It's just, the thing is, if
I prayed about it, God opened the door.
If we resigned every time something bad happened, we wouldn't have anybody. So I'm very proud of the work that we do, and even the mistakes that we've made, we've learned through them. And that's all we could. And when you can, I do believe the district is in a better place than we were 6 years ago.
Amen. I
And,
agree.
and then I'm proud of the work we've done because,
Yes.
I've said it from the very beginning. I consider myself the George Bush of superintendents. I'm not real bright, but I surround myself with people who are. And we've got a lot of smart and a lot of wonderful and amazing folks that are leading the school system, even when I'm not here.
We appreciate you, and you have done an excellent job. And you are a smart man. I know you. You've become a dear friend, and I'm going to miss talking to you every month. I really, truly am. But we'll have to see you at the farmers market and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There you
Maybe
go.
we'll find a way to jump in here
That's
every
just
once in
it,
a while.
and we'll figure something out. We'll figure something out. You can come in on.
Like maybe on breaks, Jackson, I'll
You
come
can,
back through it.
yes, you could actually come in on Faith Friday because you're a PK. Y'all can come in and talk some. We can talk some Jesus. I do have.
I did turn the other way. You know that, though. Yeah.
Huh, what do you mean?
Well, my dad's Southern Baptist preacher.
Uh-huh.
I'm a Methodist.
Oh, uh-oh,
So as my dad told me a long time ago, we've got the main thing,
Yeah,
and that's Jesus Christ.
there you go.
And then he said, and then you can just be wrong about everything else. So I looked at him. I said, Dad, the way I look at it, I just need more grace than you do.
There you go.
So-
There you go. We
so-
all do. That's
we all do.
hysterical. I don't think I realized that. I do. I tell you what, let's reset. And I do have a question from Miss Tracy Deaver. I'm going to let you read that while I go ahead and do a break. And we're going to pause and talk about. We're going to pause and talk about my friends Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. If you're looking for some help in real estate, wow, this is a busy community, guys. I mean, this is a community that is growing, it's booming, and it is an opportunity for some people that want to sell some property and they want to get top dollar. Well, maybe you're not getting some attention on your property that you think you should. Well, maybe you need some new video. Maybe you need some drone footage. Maybe you need some new pictures. Barry's a Zillow certified photographer, licensed industry drone pilot, does those 360-degree virtuality home tours. He'll get you up on realtor.com. That makes sure you're going to get as much traffic as possible to your property and you're going to get the top dollar. Bottom line, the real estate market changes constantly. It's very different than it was last year. If you're coming to the table as somebody that wants to buy, you got to get pre-qualified. How much house can you buy? What are the stipulations surrounding you when it comes to what you're going to do in real estate? Do you maybe you're going to have to back off of how much house you want to buy because of the interest rates? What can you do to improve your interest rates? Well, that's Rebecca's expertise. She's one of the first in the area to be a senior real estate specialist. She studies all the time, crosses her T, dots her I's. They're great in the community. They're up in Cross Plains. They sponsor all kinds of things. You see them out all over the place. And they are, again, specializing in Robertson County, but they buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. Great friends, great sponsors of this program, great in the community, and they say they'll bring you into the real estate world as well. If you want to be a realtor, well, come on, and they'll help get you acclimated to that as well. You can connect with them at sellwithbecky.com, or buy BUYRobertsonCounty.com, or you can just give Rebecca a call, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Tell them you turned Cincha. You know what you were talking about, getting Jackson in here. I would love to get him back in here. I got such a kick out of, I was in Walmart one night, and he was in there, and we turned and we're talking to each other, and then all of a sudden you texted me. And I'm like, what are the odds of that? I run into your son, and then you text me, so we FaceTimed you. Right in the middle of Walmart.
Well,
It
of
was
course,
hysterical.
now it's I'm going, why is Laverne FaceTime?
I know, you're going,
So,
what is going on?
let's see what this is all about.
Yeah, that was funny. Well, and what's so funny, too, a lot of people accidentally FaceTime. But, I was afraid you wouldn't pick up, but it was great. It was so funny.
all good.
It was so funny. So, answer the question?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The question was, for those who are on the radio and not watching on Facebook, is were the raises just for the first year teachers and the bottom of the pay scale is what I call
Right.
it. Is there a comparable raise given to veteran teachers to help with people that want to stick around? And the answer is yes. But there's a caveat. And of course, there's two ways to increase salaries on the salary schedule. You can do it by percentage, which means everybody gets a 5% raise or whatever case may be. And when you do that, the ones that are on the bottom of the scale monetarily don't see the same amount of increase as you do at the top of the scale, because you're taking 5% of more money.
Right.
So the other way to do it is to get a flat amount. And what this pay scale does, it's kind of a combo of the two. And when I say that is, we brought up our first year teachers to $50,000, which was an increase of about $5,600, something like that, going from 44 or $5,400, going from 44.6 or whatever the case may be up to 50. The ones as you got higher in the pay scale didn't see that amount, but it was still more than they've ever received. So nobody received less than a $4,000 a year raise, I think, when you look
Okay.
at the pay scale, which is, I think we topped out at about a 13% increase when you look at the bottom. And I think we looked at about 7%, which is still the highest amount we've ever given on, but we squeezed it a little bit. That's how you squeeze a salary schedule. Otherwise, it just keeps on getting longer, bigger and bigger. It's already been discussed that the next time they do this, it'll be a percentage increase, which will put the veteran teachers back, getting a more amount than
Okay.
the purpose
That's a
of
good
this
question,
one.
Tracy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great question
Yeah.
because even the sheriff's office right now is dealing with that, whereas they gave a percentage once and it made this is going to sound horrible, but the rich get richer, and you know how that
Right.
is. But that's a horrible analogy. Please don't quote me on that.
No, but it's
I'm
yeah.
saying the percentage of a higher amount gives you a higher amount.
Right.
So this is kind of a combo to where we wanted to get the early ones up to attract those folks, but then not do it to the detriment. One of the original conversations was that we leave most people about where they are, and that's ludicrous. I mean, at some point, year 11 is going to make more than year 12, and why in the world would you ever do that? So what we ended up doing, and we still have those bigger bumps at I think your 10 year, your 15 year, which we've always had. We started that a while ago. So, kind of give you a reason to get to that 16th year or that 21st year. So we'll try to get a draft, and it'll say really big draft and make sure people don't know that it hadn't been voted on or anything like that as far as the county commission. And the county commission will vote on the budget in August, which is never in time for an August paycheck to show your salary bump. So it'll be based on pretty much what last year's step would have been. And then in September, then they'll make it retroactive, and you'll get both August and September.
Okay.
So
Well,
that's when we vote on the budget this late. And I say we, I'm really talking about when the county commission votes on it in August. Very rarely is it in time for the August paycheck. So usually it's September will take care of August and September. So yeah, nobody got any less than $4,000. So when you think about it, let's say you were making, 50,000. That's still pretty, when 5,000 is, 10%. So what is 8%? That's
Yeah.
still an 8% raise.
yeah.
Now our classified folks still got that 8% because they don't make a whole lot anyway, as far as our classified pay scale. So we did that last year. We gave them an 8% bump. This year we did it again.
Okay.
And then so that's an 8% raise 2 years in a row. And then our CDC assistants actually got another 10%. So let's say they were making, 25,000 last year. We bumped them $2,500 last year. We're going to do it again this year, so they'll be up to 30. 30 plus.
Yeah.
So anyway, this salary schedule will be the largest raise given to anybody in the school system ever. So
Wow. I'm telling you, as
we got to do something.
Yeah.
Everything costs more. Cost of living itself has gone up quite a bit, and we've got to do something. And if we don't attract our best from outside of Robertson County, and that's the kicker. We are competing. When you go to Austin P, I was at MTSU's graduation, and I think they had 58 on there that were graduating with a teaching license. 58 out of MTSU. And
That's
I think
incredible.
most of
That's
them
not much.
They're either in Murfreesboro City, Rutherford County, or they're going back to their home counties where they grew up. That's it. And that's not necessarily Robertson. So
Yeah, I mean, and I keep telling everybody, if you've retired and you've done another career, retire into teaching. If you have a degree, you can go in and start teaching, and then get your master's in education. Man, I love these kids. I'm having so much fun with them. I was telling some some up at the office the other day. I said, I really can't wait for fall. I'm excited. And I mean, I miss the kids and I want to know what's going on and all of that. And I know Muriel's like, she's been at it 31 years and she just, but I've done other things. A lot of teachers, we just tease. She's
Well,
my
I'm gonna say
friend.
though, she looks the same as she did 20 years ago. So
So-
I think there's something about teaching keeps you young.
There you go.
It wears you the crap out, but
Yeah.
but it also keeps you young at the same
Yes, it
time.
does.
So yeah.
Well-
she hadn't changed a whole lot. I'll
Yeah.
go on record to say that Muriel Barnett has not changed that much at all.
There you go, Muriel. There you go. And that's what a lot of people will teach for 30 years and they'll retire and they'll do something else. I've done all the something else. I've had a fun, crazy, diversified career. And now I started out as a teaching major. People don't realize that. I was a teaching major before I got into radio. And so I'm just thrilled. And so I just say that to encourage other people who maybe have retired from something else. Have you thought about retiring into teaching? It's a lot of fun, and you're going to love these kiddos, and they could use some of us older folks coming along and kind of just, talking to them about some of the things that maybe they just don't know anything about anymore. I digress. Talking with Dr. Chris Causey, I think I'd still just have one ad to do, and yes, I'm pretty sure. But we'll do the ad for Corbin Creek here in just a minute. What else do you want to talk about? We'll get back into the board meeting. I got you off track.
No, you're fine. The rest of the director's report, we did give some summer learning camp numbers. Of course, we know with the third grade retention that we have a lot of kids going to summer camp, summer learning camp. We used to call summer school. So much more fun than the summer school I ever taught back in the day. But please continue to do that. Of course, there's a 90% attendance that you have to follow, or your child is in danger of being retained if they're a third grader going to the fourth grade. So please be sure and get with your school about that. If by chance you should have been there, it may be a little bit too late for you to go, being on that third day. But I do want to give a shout out to Miss Marissa Toothman. She is our music teacher over at East Robertson Elementary School. Just real quick, she was actually named, my last visit, I forgot my glasses, Tennessee Arts Academy Foundation Hero Award winner for 2023.
Awesome.
So for those who know Miss Toothman, 30 years veteran, and you do not go to a music program at East Robertson Elementary without knowing how awesome she truly is. So we're very blessed to have her out there. We were at 42 enrollees of our adult high school for 22.
That's
23.
amazing. I love that.
20 of them have graduated; they're completed, and that actually. I think 10 of, a good percentage of those were non-white. And that's a big deal because we're helping families, we're helping communities. Some of them are not English is their first language, and they're walking out with a high school diploma, ready to do whatever they want to do. And that's a pretty amazing program out of there. That's, of course, it's over there at the transportation now. Hopefully get to move that back to district office sometime in the future. We also discussed some of the health clinic numbers and what a blessing that has been to our folks. And we're definitely using it. They're going to be doing a presentation to the board in a planning session this fall, kind of a first year, what we've learned. And for those who've ever used that clinic, Amanda's over there and they're just phenomenal. They're nice. They'll treat you with respect and kindness and figure out what's wrong with you. And that's something that Mayor and I have talked about being one of the I guess the proudest things that we've done for Robertson County employees is the clinic. And I think Ryan Martin would agree that it's definitely been a blessing for us all. And we gave an update on West Side, and for those who want to know what we're doing there, other than the paving out front, we are replacing all the HVAC this summer. Kind of bringing it up to the current century of heating and air. And then, of course, GMS, people drive by, and the theater's about to be buttoned up, that fourth wall. People say, what's up with that fourth wall? Why won't they build the fourth wall? The thing is, anything you want to do inside that building, it's a lot easier if you don't have that fourth wall.
Yes.
So they're about to button that up now that the floor's in, and they're going to be able to work pretty quickly. Once that's done, the ceiling grid is being put in the new wing, and we'll be moving kids in around Christmas break. And I'm talking about current kids in, and as the zoning committee meets, I think they're going to meet in July. We'll hopefully have a plan to move some more kiddos there next year.
When do they think they're going to start that wall? Because I want to go get some more drone footage. I've got some of my students are just excellent with the drone, and I don't have access to them. And I'd like to get a little more drone footage of it before they put that wall up.
I'm not real sure. And, well, I'm not talking about the ceiling. The ceiling still will, so you'll still be able to fly around, but that fourth wall.
Yeah, that fourth wall's been down. It's been kind of cool
is,
watching it. Yeah.
Probably within the next couple of weeks, maybe.
Okay, I may try to get over there
We've
before
got
Mexico.
one more meeting, or I've
Okay.
got one more meeting next Wednesday.
Okay.
And I might know a little bit more after that.
Okay. Very good. It's exciting. A lot of great stuff happening here in Robertson County, with the exception of our director going to Sumner County. I ran into the bus guy, the guy who's Josh Heinerman of Sumner County, right? His son or kiddos play Little League with my grandson. And so the day after you announced, I'm like, you stole our director. And we were talking back and forth. But anyway, we do wish you the best. Just all the prayers in the world for you. But such a blessing you've been to me and my family and to this entire district. We thank you very much. So we still have, 6 minutes. You got anything else you need to cover?
Well, you want to talk about Miss Jane and how much I love Miss Jane?
Let's do that. We need to talk about Corbin Creek.
7 years ago, my
Yes.
first partner in crime teaching in the hallways of Chrysler was Jane Corbin.
I love her.
And love her to death, and learned a lot. We at Chrysler, those first 5 years that I taught, from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Didn't know a whole lot of anybody when I came to Chrysler. And I did my student teaching in the East, but at Chrysler, it was me, Miss Jane Corbin, and Mr. Richard Spicer.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, Richard stopped teaching a few years after that. Miss Jane retired. So then it was me and others. Then I was the old guy, very quickly. But, within that 5 years, we had such small classes, a junior high of 3 classes.
Yeah.
Either 2 7th grade and 1/8, or 2 8th and 1 7th, depending on the year. I had to drop down to 6th grade a couple of times. But we actually lost 2 students during that 5 years.
Oh, man.
2 of them within really about a year and a half. And it was hard.
I
It
can't
really
imagine.
was. As first year teachers, I think Amanda and Jonathan both passed my 2nd, 3rd year, 4th year. And but I have relationships with those kids that were in that class that I don't have with anybody else. So James Stiles is one of our SROs who's now going to be teaching at Chrysler. Charlie Arms is still out there. You're a lot of kiddos that came through there have them more for the sheriff's office. Actually, I always make that joke. They're carrying guns now, but you know what? I have a bond with those kids because of what we went through when they had a loss of a teammate, whether it be on the basketball or a classmate inside the classroom, and you just build those relationships. I wouldn't trade anything for, even though they really came at a really huge loss at the time, and that's 27 years, long time. But Miss Jane and I, she, I was very jealous because she got the math. She was teaching math, and that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
But I was told if I wanted a job, I had to teach English and social studies, so that's what I did.
There you go. I love it. And Miss Jane was actually at the farmers market this weekend, and she was in the middle of several conversations, so I didn't get to talk to her. But I see her all the time when I'm out there, and I just love going and talking to Amy and Miss Jane about all the things, everything. As much as we just love to talk about what they do in the community, they are the experts when it comes to your lawn and garden too, and everything you need for your garden, everything that you need to make your garden look great. And they're part of the Seeds of Hope Tour of Gardens that's benefiting Martha Song. That's happening Saturday. You can pick up tickets at Eventbrite, and you can go by there for 9 to 3. They're going to be focusing on that. Of course, you can come by and take care of all the things you need for your lawn and garden too. But they're great community leaders. They're great involved with the community. And if you just want to go have some fun conversations, go into the gift shop there, and you'll have handcrafted items from Miss Jane. I love the little bowl cozies and the pot holders. You got to go get some Miss Jane's handiwork. It's wonderful stuff. But this is all Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center. They're at 4920 Highway 161. You can give them a call if you have questions, 615-384-3185, 615-384-3185. And again, they are part of the Tour of Gardens and the Seeds of Hope Tour of Gardens. And Penny Callis will be here tomorrow to talk to us more about that. So be a part of that. Go to Eventbrite and get your tickets. It's all for Martha Song. Couple of minutes here.
Well, I will say this. And we started the program with talking about the Lord working in mysterious ways. There has never been a year teaching in Robertson County that God didn't put somebody in my place. I think about teaching at Kreisel and the relationships that I have there. Doris Crawford still there, was hugging on her in the Kroger parking lot, and a lot of folks that I've come in contact with over the years. But when I went to Greenbrier Middle after I left Kreisel, and I thought about being a principal one day. I thought about doing something other than teaching, but really didn't want to go back to school.
Yeah.
And for those who know Coach Jones, as a lot of people know him, Donnie Jones, actually came to me one day at Greenbrier Middle and said, "Hey, you need to go to Trevecca and get your master's. You can do it in 15 months, and I think I might have a job for you next fall." And it's those kind of folks that God just put you in your path. And you know what? I would have never thought about going to Trevecca of all places. And now, I get to teach there this summer. I taught there before I became superintendent. Susie Harris, the dean there, kept on calling my superintendency my sabbatical. I'm just waiting for you to come back. And I do love teaching. Absolutely adore teaching still, even if it's adults. So I get to teach educational psychology coming up in a couple weekends, actually.
Fun.
And very excited. And we've had teachers that I had in class that came to Robertson County once they got their teaching license, and they're teachers of the year over at East Elementary, and a couple other places where people are in White House that I physically had in class at Trevecca, and now they're teaching for us. And then, all of a sudden I wanted the job at Greenbrier Middle's principal, didn't get it. I've been turned down for a lot more jobs than I got, and didn't get it. And then I ended up, once again, at Joe Burns, which I got to, as a principal at Joe Burns High School, I got to have my daughter ride the bus from Joe Burns Elementary all the way up to the high school, as a little kindergartner.
Yeah. And
we'll always be thankful to Lori Dozier, my assistant principal at the time, for always had a chair set up for her and all the candy she could possibly want, as a kindergartner, first grader, until her mom came and picked her up. I've been blessed with people around me that took care of me, took care of my family, and all I got to do is just keep on plugging on. And then I got a chance to come back to Greenbrier Middle's principal at the right time. It's always about timing. And so I got to come back as principal at Greenbrier Middle and got to work with Miss Thompson and that staff. And of course, a lot of those folks are retired now. Vicki Clark was there last night, Coach Clark. And she, I credit a phrase from her, and it's "this too shall pass." No matter what happens to you, it's going to pass. Sun's going to come up tomorrow, and we're going to be just fine. And the thing is, Brother Jason Wilkerson, preacher at Greenbrier United Methodist, Dr. Jason Wilkerson, for those who go see him as an eye doctor, had a great message on Sunday morning and was talking about it's not the end result, it's the journey. And my journey's been quite awesome for 27 years.
I love you, brother. Thank you, Dr. Chris Causey.
Are you done being emotional yet? I said, yeah, I'm good. I'm like Norm on Cheers, just after a while you just get used to it. But no, these people are very special to me.
Yeah.
And will always be, from a young boy in Bowling Green, Kentucky, who had an earring. They made that joke last week as well, that I had an earring there for a while.
You're kidding.
And
I didn't know that.
And they always asked me that. Yeah, you still see the hole, actually. And they said, Dr. Causey, how long has your earring been out? I said, well, Madison Causey will be 23 on Halloween. So on Halloween, it'll be 23 years.
That's hysterical. God bless you, brother. Thank you. You better come visit.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Godspeed. We'll be praying for you, brother. And thank you for all you've done for Robertson County Schools. Appreciate you. Love you. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a wonderful day.